Alright, part 2 of the KAOSS Pad tutorial. We started off with a bit of an intro overview of some of the main functions, so I wanted to just look at different ways of using it. This time around I've got just using my phone, mini jack going into stereo phono. That's the line input, left and right line input on the back. Because we're using the line in, we have to switch the input selector to line. As opposed to mic, we had it on earlier, and that mic is the one on the front. So line input now, so it's coming from the back. And I've got TWiki Beat to start off with, this little drum machine. Let's put in a beat there, turn it up a little bit. It's quite cool. What else have we got? Harsh, that last one, isn't it? Let's find some other sound. Oh, that's better. Kind of cheeky. Let's capture that. Now, TWiki Beat is in its own tempo. It's at 125 BPM according to the screen. We've got two options. The KAOSS Pad has to be in the same tempo, so we can either just manually set it. Notice when you change tempos, it goes in small increments. If you just want it to go in whole beats per BPMs, whole beats, hold shift down, and it just goes in whole numbers. So we could set 125 there, or we could tap the tempo. If I just have it playing, if we didn't know that this was 125, we could just have that playing back. So we can tap along, getting in time that way. Either way works. Let's capture it. So sampling, let's record for 4 beats. 2, 3, 4. Let's do that again without the emails coming in. Let's turn it on to aircraft mode. So cool, stop TWiki Beat, and we've got our loop now in the KAOSS Pad. Leaves us free now to jump to a different thing, maybe Moog Model D, great synth. Also free at the moment on the App Store. Great Moog Basslines. That's very small to use on an iPhone, but if you've got an iPad, it's much better. Sounds great though still. Let's record in like a bass thing. How long do we want to record? Maybe 2 parts. So 8 beats. Notice this all is based around working in 4/4 time. 4/4 time signatures. Unfortunately, you can't change the time signature. It's kind of aimed at electronic DJs. Rarely dance music deviates from 4/4. I'm going to show you in a minute how to get away from that and force it into different time signatures. So let's record in a little bass line. Something like that. So hit sampling. 1, 2, 3, 4. Buttons on mine are starting to go and they're not very sensitive. Let's hit it harder. Cool. We can build that up, add something else. Again, quite difficult. No, I don't want to do that. Let's find a cool sound. Something like that's quite simple, isn't it? So let's put it in C. 1, 2, 3, So whilst that's great, we're quickly running out of options. We've used up 3 slots and we've only got 1 left, D. We can actually bounce these 3 onto D to free up those 3, and I'll show you how to do that. And also, while we record these 3 onto D, I'm going to play around with the loop effects. If I press down on the button, we can jump from BPM displayed there, press down on the sort of dial thing, and it shows the effect. Loop 4 is quite a good one for getting kind of stutter effects. That kind of vibe. So let's record it onto D. Remember, this slider here just controls the volume of your loops. So to record it onto D, we have to do a thing called resampling, and you can see it says resampling just above the sampling button there. Anything that has a little box around it is the extra functionality that you get to by holding Shift down. So if I hold Shift and press resampling, it looks all the same, and it does the same thing as when you normally hit sampling, but this time it's going to record all of those 3 internally and capture it onto slot 4. Let's record for 4 bars, so 16 beats, and I'm going to do a bit of that sort of stutter effects as it goes down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice it suddenly gets louder. That's because those 3 are playing and that one. If I turn those 3 off. So now all those 3 are on D with the little effects performance that I did. So that was the process of resampling, holding Shift, sampling, and then recording 3 pads onto a 4th pad. That means we've got these 3 freed up now, so we can record new loops onto them. Finally, I wanted to just cover some of the extra stuff you can do with the loop edit. Notice it says above, just below sample bank, it says loop edit. Again, it's in a white box, which means you'd get to it from holding Shift. So Shift and press D where our new loop is. You can see the screen turns into something new. If I turn all of these off, the first thing it shows us so this becomes a mixer, and for each slot there's like this sort of fader above it. So you can do a little mix if you want, if they're not quite the right volume between them. Just turn those ones off and focus on this one. The other cool thing that you can do in here is these 8 buttons allow you to slice that up into 8 equal chunks. of course it depends on how long that loop is that you've recorded. Those chunks will be different levels, different lengths. So let's give an example. If we just play back slice number 1. So you can hear it's sliced it into individual little chunks, and you can play back as many as you want. And of course, if they are not equals of 4, we get like 3/4 time, or I guess that's 6/4. 1, 2, 4, 2, 2, 3. Difficult to count with all the glitching out, but these slices don't have to be consecutive either. You can just enable certain random ones and it will make a composite slice up of that. So it allows you to do a bit of chopping and slicing and dicing. The only other option that you have in here, these numbers up here just allow you to push the loop forwards or backwards slightly in time compared to the other loops. That can be useful if things are sliding out of time a little bit. You can kind of sort of DJ with it, but it's useful in certain situations. Great, so that was a bit more extended functionality of the KAOSS Pad, recording in loops from some other external device. It's a really expressive little instrument. It's really great, so have a play around with it.